welcome to another edition of the Mack Cast. As always, I am Monster Mack, along with
Trainee number one. That's right, Mac. We are here on the Mack Cast. I am excited about it. We have an interview in-house today, Mac.
In whose house? My house?
Well, this is actually my house, but yes, in the house. In the house, not a house.
I was going to say that it was Monster Mack's secret headquarters, but apparently you gave away the secret, so it's not too much of a secret anymore. But that's right. In the house, we got Eric Dillon. Can you believe it? Eric.
I can believe it. I don't know about you guys. I'm very pleased to be here. Two very close personal friends of mine. I love you guys. I have been.
We love you too, dude.
Oh, I appreciate it. And we've been on many shows together, and it is my honor to be on this podcast.
Mac didn't quite give you the big hype build-up as I thought he was going to. He was just kind of like, in the house.
Yeah.
We got Eric Dillon.
Hey, it's fine.
I was going to say, New England, independent wrestler, Eric Dillon. I was going to name some promotions you've worked
Kid
for.
Reflex now.
Kid Reflex.
Yeah.
That's right, Kid Reflex, Eric Dillon. Instead, Mac kind of just was like, hey, Eric, say some words for us, please, real quick.
Yeah. That's okay, though.
My apologies, Trini. Obviously, we all know that you do the introductions on this podcast. From now on, that's a clear Matt Cast rule. My apologies, Eric Dillon. So here we go. The second introduction from training number one, the proper introduction.
I don't know if I'm going to go into the introduction again, Mac. But I think maybe we should do a little. What we like to do here, Eric, is when we first start off the podcast, we do some Mac news. We talk a little bit of what's going on. You can throw your 2 cents in anytime you want, talk about whatever you want, and then we're going to get into talking to you a little bit. You okay with that?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
All right, Mac, we got any news?
You're damn right we got some news, Trini. We got some real good news because me and you, Team Mac Attack, is in fact still the Showcase Championship Professional Wrestling Champions.
And for everybody else that was trying to pay attention to that, what Monster Mac was trying to say, that we are still the Showcase Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. That's right.
Absolutely. I've asked Chris Blackhawk personally. I've asked it on the microphone in front of the fans. I asked him backstage. I said, Chris Blackhawk, please, give us some better competition here. Bring it up a little bit. And last match, we wrestled the Dirt Devils. So we wrestled them before. We beat them before.
Who are the Dirt Devils?
The Bum and the Hobo, two homeless guys, do not have homes, and
Okay.
I don't see how they can afford wrestling training. I think they have a special deal with Showcase Pro Wrestling where Chris Blackhawk trains them as long as they wrestle for free.
Chris Blackhawk does have a
or
lot of
Blackhawk
special deals.
may take all their wrestling money as like payment to the Blackhawk training school. You know what I mean?
Who knows?
I think that some kind of deal has to be worked out, but we did wrestle them, and we defeated them, and I was pretty damn happy about it. So we are still the tag team champions.
Congratulations.
Well, I thank you, Eric Dillon.
Apparently, it was a pretty good show that night. I mean, they jam-packed a lot of people in that Attleboro building, and how many people would you say was there, Mac?
I did not do a head count, but there was probably over 100, maybe 150.
I want to go as far as the 150, but 100 plus is probably a little more accurate. Was drawn, and the crowd. It was a lively crowd that night. There was some guy from the Patriots. I don't know if are you a Patriots fan, Eric Dillon?
I don't think I've ever watched a single game of football in my life.
Really? Like
Yes.
not even the Super Bowl?
Maybe for the commercials.
Are you doing a Stone Cold voice right now?
No, not at all. I just had to.
I got you some iced tea, man. Feel
Hell, son.
free to drink some iced tea. So yeah, there was a guy from the Patriots in the crowd.
I'm so parched. Thank you.
I had no idea who he was, to tell you the truth. I eventually assumed it was the jacked-looking guy in the crowd that was drunk with the dudes he was hanging out with. You know what I mean?
Due to the amount of lackeys that he had to have been the star in the audience that night.
Does he
But,
plays for the Super Bowl or
I don't know.
The Patriots?
I didn't catch his name, but he wasn't a fan of Team Mac Attack for some reason.
Yeah.
I liked me, but not so much Trinity number one. You guys were having an eye battle. You were battling with your eyes.
Well, I mean, he was obviously smashed and cheering for the Bum and the Hobo because he was trying to have a good time, and and joke around and stuff. So I was messing with him, and he was like working back and forth with me, even though, you know, Mack Attack is all about having. I mean, that was fun. I'd say he was laughing and stuff. So that's not a heel move. I don't care what anybody says.
No, I thought it was a good time. Well, you know, we're the kind of tag team that likes to dance a little and get the little kids riled up and have a good time. There was a large amount of youngsters in the building. We took some autographs during intermission.
You got autographs from these youngsters?
No.
How many?
No, we took some pictures with them, a decent amount, and signed some autographs. It was a good time.
That's awesome.
Also, other Mac news, we did the WCW show, the Whaling City Wrestling show, and
of course, WCW.
we weren't there to wrestle. We weren't actually on the card to wrestle, but WCW, the booker came up to me and he was looking for some inside information on some of the wrestlers. He wanted the fans to get the word, so he asked us to do commentary for the show.
Mac, man, what the hell does that have to do with inside information? And what are you talking about, man? I feel like you just you were jib-jabbing there, and then you were trying to make a point eventually.
No way, Trainee. I
He's just
checked.
trying to put himself over, I think.
I checked my Mac email, and the booker came up to me personally and was like, you got to let the fans know what's going on with the promotion. And you and Trainee are the top guys. You're the only ones to do it. So they had us do commentary. I didn't fill you in on all that, Trainee. I apologize. I just said, hey, buddy, we're doing commentary tonight. No match.
I feel like you're lying to me. I'm not gonna get too much into it, but I'm pretty sure you're making all that up.
Commentate in ACW bikini contest or officiate that, or
That was Whaling City Wrestling as well.
some kind of
We
slot
officiated that, and we also did a deal where we
Do you remember who won?
who was it? Lindsay, and then Cena's dad did the deal to Castro and put him in the STF and stuff.
Yep.
That's one of our YouTube videos. It's got a crap load of views. I'm a big fan of it personally.
Monster Mac on YouTube, Eric Dillon YouTube. Check it out.
What is the Eric Dillon YouTube? We can get to some plugs later if you want to throw it in right now.
No, after. No.
All right.
I am giving you free plug. It's gone. You can plug it whenever you want, man.
I'll plug it all the time, day and night.
So anytime you want to plug during this podcast, just throw it in there real quick. But we did do commentary on Halloween. Around Halloween, me and Trainee did the second half of the show.
Hold on. What does this have to do with inside information?
Well,
you answered my question.
All right, I made all that up. I think what it really was when we did the first time we did commentary during the Halloween show.
Okay.
The fans liked it and the promoter liked it, so he invited us back on the last Whaling City Championship wrestling show to do promotional to do commentary.
Dude, you're making up names of promotions. You're going buck wild, my friend. I don't know what you're on. But I'd like some of it, maybe, and get this party started with Eric Dillon. What I'm trying to say is, we did commentary for a Whaling City Wrestling, not Whaling City Championship Wrestling Promotions of Atlanta.
That's world-class championship wrestling.
Yeah, the man is just making things up, folks.
Thinking of.
All right, we had too much. I had a little bit of wine before this podcast, so my apologies. You know, I wanted to warm the house with some wine, so. Yeah, that's pretty much my Mac news, all the Mac news I had. But we do have Eric Dillon in the house. He wrestled for a few different kind of promotions. And
Mac, are you from? Not from America, right?
No, he's not.
All right.
From France. Drinking wine before a podcast is a normal thing we do here. Mac had a glass too many, I'd say. His face is a little red. You can see it like through the eye holes of the mask.
Yeah, you look very thirsty at the same time.
Eric Dillon brought his own champagne, oddly enough.
For you guys.
Yeah, well, he did bring it for us. It was nice of him. But now, Mac, you say that was all the Mac news we have, but, I mean, we're already like 10 minutes into the podcast. 9 minutes 30. That's pretty good, I'd say. A lot of babbling. A lot of pure entertainment, I'd say.
I like to keep the Mac news under 10 minutes. You know what I mean? But Eric Dillon, tell us a little about yourself. How'd you get into the wrestling business, and what kind of promotions you work?
I feel like I'd be rambling forever if you told me that. So I think we're gonna have the training number one translate that for me.
No. Eric Dillon. Obviously, you were a fan as a kid. we're friends. We
course.
know each other pretty well.
Of
I'd
course,
say.
of course.
Obviously, you were a fan of pro wrestling as a child.
Always.
You got into the business real young. Am I right?
That's correct. I started with a promotion that's still around today by a different name, Top Rope Promotions, but it was
Yankee Pro
originally
Wrestling.
Yankee Pro Wrestling, South
YPW.
Coast Championship Wrestling.
That was run by JoJo Eugenio.
Yeah, Joe wasn't around as much as when I started, as opposed to when I watched the shows. But when I started, Steve was pretty much taking over control. And
Steve Ricard, for people
Steve
who don't know what
Ricard,
you're
right?
talking about.
For the people who don't know who I'm talking about, which I'm sure everybody's listening to this, I'm sure knows who Steve Ricard is. Or
There's a
at least take
possibility. I
some
don't know.
interest
Yeah.
in independent wrestling in the New England scene.
Right. So you joined the school. Did you officially join the school, or
Well, no, I stuck around. I was really annoying, and I would still attend all the shows they had on the weekends. They would usually run a South Coast show on a Friday or a Yankee show on a Friday.
try to keep
or
the
vice
mic
versa.
in front of your face?
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. If you
Is
can,
this fine right here?
well, you can move,
Okay.
but as long as you bring the
I'm
mic
taking
with
that
you,
mic with
because
me.
you're like moving your head and moving the mic.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Talk
It's
with my
okay.
hands.
Mac,
I feel like it's
Mac was doing it too
gotta line it
before.
up,
I had to
you
yell
know.
at him. But I'm sorry. Where were we?
You tell me.
We were. You were talking about hanging around the shows. Hanging
Right,
around
I used to
Yankee
hang
Pro
around the
Wrestling
shows,
on the
and
weekends.
I used to still go to the shows, and I would bug and ask to do ring crew at the time. This was 2004, so I'm 22 now. So I was 13 at the time.
13 years old. Wow.
Right. And just about to turn 14. It was in December, and I eventually stuck around to help out sell raffle tickets during intermission or some
Running
some
the
type
concession
of-
stand, some
something.
sort of deal. You're
some type
filming
of-
or
right, exactly.
selling merch or whatever the deal is.
Yeah, the basic, pay your dues, do whatever. And eventually I just I bugged the trainer at the time, who was Brickhouse Baker, who became eventually my trainer.
Shout out to Brickhouse, by
Right,
the way.
Brickhouse Baker, I love you.
Much love to Brick House.
Everybody's a fan of Brickhouse. There's not too many people that have a bad word to say about him.
Really, does anybody have a bad word to say about Brickhouse Baker? That genuinely a nice man, really.
I certainly do. Just like you, so
Real.
You talked to Baker. Baker was actually one of my first trainers as well. And so you talked to Baker. You're a very young age. So what happened? When did you actually start training for him?
Like I said, I just stuck around, and I would attend the practices. Finally, they told me the
You have to be over 16,
secretive
right?
day.
I'm sure.
Well, no, they told me. They didn't really mention that. It was a process. My mother had to come in and fill out
Sign
a waiver.
some waivers and stuff. Yeah.
But at the time, I think practice was $20 a month, and or whatever, something like that.
Right. No, I know what you're
And
saying.
I finally was able to get in the ring, and I remember the first person I got in the ring with was Ryan Drew and Jailbreak. For anybody who is familiar with those.
Those are like two very opposite ends
Very
of the
opposite.
wrestling spectrum.
One, yeah, in the same ring, you would never think,
And slap dab right in the middle is you.
Right. There's
Jokers
me
to the left, turkeys to the right.
taking a body slam and some kind of boss man slam that Jailbreak, I think, gave it to me. He assumed that I could take that boss man slam
On
as
your
opposed
first
to
day
just-
of practice.
Yeah, I didn't even get to bump really because at the time I think there were some women there, and they were doing a spot for a match or something, and
Yeah, they were getting their stuff ready. Do you remember who the woman was?
I don't know. I think maybe Lexus, maybe, or Nikki
yeah.
Valentine, somebody from that era,
time, yeah.
that time, who's still actually around today. Both of them are still around today.
Yeah. So you got it's your first day of training.
Right.
You sit down.
I sit
You
down.
take
I brought a notebook
to take some notes,
to
right?
take some notes. I never ended up using it because they called me right in the ring right away, and I finally got the
You
lock
took
up.
your first bump.
I
No.
took my first bump. Okay, that came first. I'm
The
sorry.
bumps-
I'm
the bumps
definitely
came
getting ahead of
first.
myself.
You took your first bump, Eric
Yeah.
Dillon. What was the first thing that went through your head during that bump?
Well, if they can do it on TV and get right back up, so can I. Because I was so determined at the time that even if it hurts, I have to push through, and I still need to, be a part of this business somehow.
Yeah.
And it was definitely going to be a wrestler.
Yeah.
At the time, I was really small. I'm still really small to this day, but dramatically bigger than I was before. So just, after taking that bump, it knocked the wind out of me. I got back up, and I took it about 5 or 10 more times.
Yep.
And eventually I was able to go through the lockup and moves out of a lockup and, transitions from there. And I just kept attending practice. And trainers varied for me throughout my early
While you were staying
times.
there, right?
While I was staying
With doing the
at
Yankee
Yankee
Pro Wrestling.
Right.
It started off with Brick House.
It was Brick House, and Brick House was always continuously there when it was
Brick House training.
Brick House
The Brick
training,
House era,
right?
yep.
But there would be Sweet Scott Ashworth on Wednesdays.
Yep.
Shout out to Sweet Scott Ashworth. I love that man.
Again, another person who not too many people have anything
Right.
bad to say, my friend.
Really. And
So
Alex
Ash,
Payne,
Alex Payne, yep.
another really good guy. And I think Johnny Angel had Sundays, and Johnny Angel still wrestles today for Top Rope Promotions,
Yep.
which was Yankee Pro Wrestling.
He's one
obviously.
of the long-term,
Right.
staying. Like, he's still around.
Has
It's
to
crazy.
be the longest
Yeah.
member of the roster
Right now, easily.
right now.
I know Kahuna's been in there for a while as well. He's one of the
Yeah,
long-term guys.
I thought he retired though.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I mean,
I think I
nobody
actually
really
heard
retires
some
from-
news about
from
that
wrestling.
recently about him retiring. Did he have any take part in any training?
I think I attended a class or two, but nothing really sticks out from.
Yeah, I hear
I've
that.
practiced with him, but I've never actually, not that I can remember, have taken a class under him.
So
you know.
you're training for Yankee Pro Wrestling at the time. When was your first match, or what happened with that? With training? Where did that lead?
Yeah, like, how long were you training before you had match number one?
Well, I never. They never gave me a chance to even.
I'm not even talking about just match one at Yankee or match one at Top Rope.
Right.
How long were you there before you had your first match anywhere else, really?
I didn't have any interaction for the ring at all. I wasn't even allowed to be in the ring unless I had a camera in my hand and I was taking pictures or
Yeah,
filming. And it took me 9 months, and they gave me a shot to be a masked character in a battle royal. So obviously, I jumped at the opportunity. They let me borrow some gear from. They had a gear box.
Well, also you're still very young at this time,
yeah,
so I'm
I'm
sure
like
that had a lot to do.
14, 15. Yeah, it was in.
So you did some odd ends at first. I'm sure you ran the concession
Right.
stands and all that stuff. But when was your actual first professional wrestling match?
Well, I was just getting into that. It was like a battle royal.
Mac, he was literally just saying that to
I
you
was
before
just
you
saying
cut
it.
him off.
It's that wine, brother.
Sorry about that. So continue.
Now I lost my train of thought. How about that?
No,
I
we're
remember.
at the gearbox. You're at
Right.
the gearbox. You're
Right.
gonna
So
throw
they
on a
let me
mask.
borrow the gear, and I think what he was trying to say is, what did you do before you were able to be, in the ring and to perform in front of people
Right.
or anything like that?
Right.
And I did concession. I always did the ring. I never got paid. I always slept on the floor, and I've been driven away from many a few gas stations. And
So
speaking,
pretty much what I was trying to say was you were saying that you borrowed some ring gear and you did a mask gimmick for a battle
Yeah.
royal, correct? I understand. I've done that before and working in. But what I meant was when was your first official match in your head?
okay, that was a tag match. Not far from then,
Tag match where?
at North End Fitness in Oxford, Mass, for Jay Gillette's promotion, and which
do you
was
remember the name of the promotion at the time?
it was under the Steve Ricard banner, but Jay Gillette would be running the shows.
Yeah, he was running
He'd
the
be
show.
the
Yeah,
doorman, and he would have his own students because he
Yeah.
would have his own school out there, and Widowmaker, Eric Shred, and Freight Train, who are still around to this day.
Yep.
Thank God everybody I've named is still
So
around
far,
to this day.
yeah, I was
Really,
gonna say,
that's good.
Most of
you
them
know?
still active too, surprisingly.
Right. And they took part in the training of the guys that they had, and
Right.
Steve Ricard would bring his guys in, and I got to. It was me and another Brickhouse Baker student who's not in the business at all, anywhere.
Do you remember the name?
Miles,
Just Miles.
very skinny kid. They used to call him Gandhi because he was extremely skinny.
I feel like that sounds familiar. I don't know.
Yeah, he had that one match, and it was me and him versus the Stroke at the time, which was Ryan Drew, and Ladies Man Gregory Edwards.
Yep.
And They didn't. Nobody took liberties.
So you call Ryan Drew, but you call
Ryan Waters.
Ryan Waters is
Ryan Waters. I'm
Ryan
sorry.
Waters. It's okay. Do you apologize? Is that you're saying something?
Yes. I'm sorry. H2O. Yes.
All right. So continue. It's
but nobody.
You say the Stroke. It's the Stroke.
The Stroke. Yep. They were known
against
as the Stroke.
you and who and the kid Miles.
Yep. Miles.
Now, are you rocking a mask? Are you?
Oh yeah, I'm rocking a mask, and my name is Maximilian Pegasus. I think
I like that.
That was
Maximilian Pegasus.
That was a Yu-Gi-Oh character, I remember, and I don't know who thought of it or whatever, but
So
they announced me as
that. You
that.
got slapped it in there.
They
Well,
just threw
you
me in
remember
there.
your tag team partner's name?
No, I have no idea. I'm
So-
Aldo Montoya Jr. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Random. They
Yeah.
always like just slap people with names or lookalikes. They do
Yeah.
that a lot. If you look like a movie star or a wrestler, they'll try to give you a spin-off gimmick. But how did that match go? Pretty much overall.
Well, like I said,
Hold on 1 second, Eric.
okay.
I think that the Yankee you're talking about is a little earlier than the Yankee that he's talking about. The Yankee where they're slapping Lombardis on Paul Lombardi because he looks like Steve Lombardi is about
No,
5 or
that's-
6 years before that.
yeah,
Mac.
a
That's
little
all I'm
before my
saying.
time. I mean, I'm sure I was attending shows at that point as a fan with my with the best friend I used to have that used to live on the apartment complex next to me. We used to go to the wrestling shows.
Yeah, I was actually watching some old Alliance Championship wrestling footage, and I spotted you in the crowd
Oh yeah,
during one of my matches.
Yep. I've been there, and I'm sure I've been there with some of the guys from Yankee Pro at the time. We used to go over there.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
in Fall River. We used to always
believe
check that
so.
out.
So overall,
But the match, like I said, went well. Nobody took liberties or whatever
Yeah.
however you want to put that, however people say it, whatever the mark term is, and nobody took advantage of me, and it was great. And I don't think it was great, but it was great
Yeah.
for me.
I bet it
And,
was.
I loved it, and I knew, from then on, because I even got a reaction. I tried to be real hot and fired up, and I'm sure the match is around somewhere. I know Steve Ricard has this, and I tried to be fired up.
I know a
throughout
lot
the
of
match,
old matches are on YouTube
I said,
now.
I knew I had the charisma right there, because if you have charisma,
Yeah.
you do. So even with a mask, I feel like I could draw those people into me. So, ever since then, I stopped wrestling after that and went back to doing ring crew because they felt I wasn't ready.
I see. Well, you're at
'cause
a
I was
young
still
age
young,
at the
right.
time.
And I had just a handful of more matches with Yankee
Pro
Top Rope,
Wrestling.
and
Now, those random matches, were those all under a hood, under a
Oh, yeah.
mask, and
Yes. Oh,
just
yeah.
random different names every
Yeah.
time?
I eventually went back in 2010 and 11 and 12 to do to work with Top Rope again, and then Steve Ricard under myself, which was cool. Working at the PAL is something I never got a chance to do
Right.
in Fall River. The PAL
Right.
Hall is a famous wrestling arena
Right.
to
It's
me,
one of
at
the
least.
PAL
my
Hall
mind's
and the
famous.
Armory,
Right.
two very big,
Notorious arenas.
right, in Fall River. So you have, say, 4 or 5 matches with Yankee Pro Wrestling / TRP.
Right, and that was during the transition where they had brought in Matt Heisen, Spike Dudley,
to start running the
WWE.
trainings.
And ECW and whatever to come in and stop by the trainings, and he eventually took over.
Right.
But I mean, I don't really know the details of the whole transition, but
Eventually, I want to
It all
have
followed
maybe
through.
some Brick House on here, and even maybe Ricard at
Yeah.
a separate time too.
I
To
would
sit
love
down
to
and talk,
watch
you
that.
just talk
listen
some
to
pro
that.
wrestling. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Talk some indie stuff from maybe a different side, not from the wrestler perspective, from
Right.
the promoter perspective.
Right. I think that's a great idea.
So you have those matches. Are you all done now? When do you stop training there? At what point do you stop training?
They made the transition with Spike Dudley, and I had stayed there for a little bit, and then they had a phase where Bob Evans would come in for a little bit, and I
Right.
stayed there for a little bit.
Right.
So I was fortunate to get a good amount of different views.
Right,
of
you had the Brick House
what to
view.
do.
Then you have the Spike TV.
Right.
You know what I
and
mean?
everybody had their own individual way of training, so I feel
Right.
like that was beneficial. Confusing
Without a doubt,
sometimes,
but
definitely beneficial,
definitely
especially
good
for
for
my
it.
age.
Yeah.
I was trying to soak up as much knowledge as I can, and I still am to this day. You know,
of course.
Maybe I feel like I don't show it enough, and I wish I was more humble. And I just I really do. I really do.
Well, you got to give yourself credit.
love this
Starting
business,
at
you know?
quite that young age is definitely an advantage. You said you started at, 16 years old?
Way
14 years old?
I started doing the ring when I was 14.
So
I'm sorry, 15. I'm sorry.
See,
15.
so that's quite an advantage. So when did you actually feel like with your character Eric Dillon? When was his first match and pretty much how did that come about?
The first time I wrestled, were you gonna say something, Trent?
Yeah, I don't even. We
go
were
ahead.
in the middle of a conversation.
Shoot it, brother. I don't know where that came from.
I don't know either. I don't know.
I'm just going
you
with
keep
the
like
flow.
cutting off our conversations to ask random questions. I'm looking at you, Mac.
Hey, you
yeah.
talking to me?
Yeah,
What's going
man.
on?
You literally we're in the midst of a conversation. You just throw a random question at us, at Eric anyway, and we're trying to finish our deal over here.
Keep trying to veer me off course there.
What were you guys talking about?
I don't remember anymore. I'm
Wait,
too
you got
confused at
heat?
what you're talking about.
You got heat with me?
I think he's
Huh?
got heat with me. Apparently,
I don't know what that's
he
about.
just keeps taking the mic from me. I mean, I was
Jesus.
gonna do a nice clean, easy segue into. You were doing the mask thing. When did you start coming up with the ideas for the
Yeah.
Eric Dillon character? And he's just
yeah.
he's just burnt.
No, screw that.
See, I think I'm having trouble with the transition between the interview and actually doing a podcast. See,
Yeah.
I don't listen to podcasts myself, and I know that you're the behind scenes guy, training number one on this whole podcast thing. So my apologies, fans. I'm gonna switch my wine to water right about now, and let's see how we do.
You got to admit, though.
So you guys were talking, but
Hold on. Before you switch that wine to water, you have to admit that rather than me being on the phone, we're all here together. As friends. This is cool. I like doing this. It's been a while since we've all hung out.
Right.
together.
That's what I like the most about the whole podcast deal. Doing it this way,
It's more intimate
we're all
environment.
we're all sitting together. We're
Right.
having a face-to-face conversation. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy doing the online interviews and all that stuff. Where when did you start? Who were your favorite wrestlers growing up? And
Right.
I don't want to have that conversation with you. You know what I mean? I know these things already.
Right, and I don't think, honestly, I don't
most
think anybody listening really cares what my favorite wrestlers were. I think
Right.
if they're interested in listening to this, they're interested in hearing about
the real shit.
some kind of locker room bullshit or
Right.
whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't really have a bunch of stuff to tell. But I mean, I'll tell you where I came from.
But exactly, man, and that's what's beautiful about the podcast thing, that not having any time limits. We can talk as long as we want. We can talk about anything
Sure.
we want, really. And Mac, it's okay, buddy. I appreciate you trying to throw your questions in there. You want to veer the conversation, and you're veering it in the right direction. And let's high five, yeah.
Eric Dillon, answer my damn question already.
What is the question?
Oh, I forgot what the question was.
Oh,
No, I was
God.
when Eric Dillon, the wrestler, who you are,
Okay,
when
yes,
he had his
okay.
first match and how that came about.
When did Eric Dillon become the wrestler from the movie The Wrestler?
That was a very grueling process. But before
You're
that,
talking about the blonde hair, and,
right? Yeah.
For the people listening who can't actually see you, you look like Mickey Rourke a little bit from that movie. Like
Thank
a
you.
smaller
Hopefully
version.
not aged like Mickey
Toned
Rourke.
but smaller.
Thank you.
But
Take those
yes,
Mickey
how
Rourke
did,
is
because
excellent.
I know you did the odd ends for top rope, and you wrestled in a match with the Battle Royals and whatnot.
Right.
I'm a fan.
He's just going over it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a fan of Eric Dillon.
Yada yada yada. Yeah.
I'm an Eric Dillon fan, and my actual
Thank you.
first match for Whaling City Wrestling
Uh-huh.
was against you and Mark Damon in a tag team match. Training Number One was
okay.
also in the match.
Of course he was.
And I'm a fan of Eric Dillon, so I want to hear about Eric Dillon.
Okay.
Please tell me how his first match came about.
My
See,
first-
I switched the water to wine. The wine to water.
Why are you
Like
lying?
Jesus.
You're lying to these people.
He is clearly
I can see
lying.
you. They can't.
Yeah, that is not water in that jug, dude. All right, so Eric, you did,
Disappointed.
yeah, you did the Battle Royals, like he said.
Right.
We're gonna yada yada yada.
I had
all that
I had
stuff.
a really good set of cards when I was over there. You
Yeah.
know, I was dealt a really good hand, and I got the opportunity to while Bob Evans was training for Top Rope, as it was now called, Top Rope Promotions, Yankee Pro
You were
Wrestling.
there. You were there when it made the
Yes.
transition from
in
Yankee
the very
to Top Rope?
early,
The
you
very
know,
early stages.
of that. And the only other person that I can think of who was there for that was surprisingly buck nasty. A lot of people don't think he's been around for a little bit of time now, but he's been around for a little
Definitely.
while now. You know, at least a few years after me. You know.
Yeah. So you were.
I was wrestling. I was wrestling at practice, and Bob Evans came up to me and approached me about doing coming down to do a TV taping to just wrestle, get some ring experience.
Was it the Top Rope Promotions TV taping, or was it like
this was
EPW?
He was running EPW, right? He was running.
So he was running
Eastern Pro Wrestling. I think.
He was running the classes for TRP, and he was still running EPW at the time. So Slam Tech was closed.
No, Slam Tech wasn't closed. They were the tapings were actually filmed at Slam Tech, and they weren't filmed
at the Top Rope building.
That's correct. I'm sorry. But yeah, they weren't filmed at the Top Rope building, which I thought was strange, but at the same time, it was his product, so I figured he was pushing his own thing.
Yeah,
so,
his own school. Stuff.
That's fine. So
yeah. Business make money.
My dad brought me, and I had no idea what to expect when I went in there. And as soon as I stepped in, I saw about 15 guys.
Now, do you have a name at this point?
I have no name at this point.
You have no. Eric Dillon's not there for you. The name's not in your head.
No,
you haven't thought about anything.
Damian Lightning was the name.
Really?
Yeah.
And you can tell that's an honest one too, because how awful it is.
Yeah. I'm not reluctant to say it either. I'm not embarrassed. I mean, I still think it's cool. Damian Lightning. Shit, man,
Who doesn't want to watch Damian Lightning, right?
Who doesn't? Exactly.
So you walk in.
So I walk in. Damian Lightning walks into Slam Tech.
Where is this? Is Slam Tech in
Pawtucket.
Pawtucket. Okay. So it's in the mill where you had to go up the stairs and stuff on the outside.
Yeah, you go up the stairs on the outside, and my dad drops me off. I walk in. I tell my dad, "Stay in the car, please."
Yeah.
And
you're gonna have your dad wait out there for like hours while you did.
Yeah, I had no idea how long it was gonna take.
You told him to stay in the car because you didn't know how long the training was?
Right, and because I just was embarrassed. All these grown men are here.
You needed to make like a quick exit or something.
No, I wasn't going to rob anybody or do anything like that.
I see.
Or maybe, run when I found out who I was going to wrestle or something like that.
Did you officially sign up to Slam Tech? Because I
signed a waiver.
I've been to Slam Tech trainings before, but I never actually signed up to
been
the school. I didn't want to fork out that much that X amount, you know what I mean? I couldn't afford it at the time. So I have been to a few trainings, though. It wasn't my first place.
Yeah.
Top Rope was,
right.
At the time, Yankee was my first training. But how was your experience at Slam Tech?
Mac, this is an Eric Dillon podcast. You know what I mean? We don't need the history of Mac about your trade.
I'm sure everybody
everywhere
you
trade.
Just throw it a little.
Has watched the DVD, right? Don't you guys have a
Mac
documentary
plugs.
out?
We do have you're in the documentary.
I am, and I've seen it. I was there on the preview night. I asked you a question because I wanted to just give you guys a little pluggage because you said I could plug anytime, day or night.
Anything you want, my friend.
There it is.
Thank you. But I just realized that we've had the Ric Flair.
Stop touching my feet, Monster Mac.
Monster Mac and Eric Dillon playing footsies in front of me.
That.
We've had the Ric Flair shoot interview on in the background for like an hour now.
Woo!
And it's just Ric Flair's face with no
I look
audio.
like Ric Flair's gay brother with his hair, right?
Yeah, I don't know about gay.
Well, not gay.
I like the blonde. It looks
it's
good.
The roots,
The roots.
It's very Mickey Rourke-esque.
Yeah, that's why he said it before. Well, I said it.
So, anyways, Damian Lightning walks into the building.
Eric Dillon. At this time, Eric. We'll just call you Little Eric.
Little Eric walks into the building.
Papa's outside waiting.
Papa's outside waiting in the blazing hot sun of August, and while his skin's melting, I'm very nervous, and I open the door and I see, but like I said, about 15 guys, all in wrestling gear. To name a few off the top of my head.
Yeah, who was there? Obviously Bob, right?
Bob, Nick Steele, a tag team called Afterburn, which is a couple of young guys.
Yep. Also in the Monster Mac documentary, they make a quick appearance because they wrestle train number 3 and train number 69.
And
Monster Mac plug. Oh, yeah. So I'm sure Chris Venom, right?
Yep. Chris Venom was there. Fred Curry Jr.
Yep. Doug Summers. Just throwing names out there.
I don't know if Doug Summers was there. I'm trying to think. Clip O'Reilly.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, there was
A lot of guys.
a lot of
basically,
guys.
a lot of guys. A lot of
mixed with
guys.
A few guys that I have no idea who they are.
You didn't see, or
You know,
okay.
which was I was grouped in with, obviously. At the
Obviously.
time. So I went up to Bob Evans. I approached him and I said, "Hey, you know,
You told me to come
You told me
here.
to come here. You know, I'm here on time. Do you have anything for me, or would you like me to do anything? You know, I can't remember the exact words I said, but he said, "Yeah, you're going to be wrestling tonight." So instantly, I got excited and I was like, "Okay, Damien Lightning, I'm going to shoot it right now." And I never got the chance to because
So in your head already at this point, you think Damien Lightning.
Lightning is going to make a big debut.
Money. This is money.
This
He's
is
making-
money. I'm going to go out there. They're going to whip me up an entrance video in like 50 seconds.
Yeah, just
you know,
walking and talking.
because I'm the first match, you know, and it's like 4 minutes, but you know, I'm thinking, all right, I'll do some hi-fi and stuff, maybe a job kick or something, you know, because I mean, I had 9 months worth of training maybe, and I was so young at the time, 15 years old, 14 to 15 years old, now turning 16, and you know, still in high school. It's just very, you know,
It's a different.
it's a chaotic.
It's a weird life.
It's just like a weird, yeah. It's not a daily, no daily routine,
Right.
You know.
So you walk in. You're about to shoot the name. Does
Yeah.
Bob give you a name?
Oh yeah. He says, "Do you have a name?" I say, "Yeah, it's and he cuts me off right there and says, "Eric Dillon." I like it. I have no idea where it came from, but cryptically, I typed in Eric Dillon one time and Googled it, and it's the first name
Of both the
Columbine
shooters, right?
shooters. Which,
Now, do you think that was what Bob had in mind? Like Bob?
No,
was
I
thinking,
don't.
like,
I don't know if that's just like a sick rib.
I don't know.
or,
That's what I'm saying.
You know, I have no idea. But I mean, I like the name. Obviously, I stuck with it. Thank you, Bob, for coming up with that.
I did not know that, and I'm glad you got that out. That's awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if anybody knows that, but that's where that came from.
kinda strange
And whether he
that-
knows it or not, or if I don't know if he wants to deny it. I mean, I don't know if he likes me, but if he
One
does,
day, would
I
you-
like him.
Do you think
know?
you'll find yourself asking him like how he came up with that name?
No, I don't care. It was probably something
No.
he rolled off the top of his
Yeah,
head.
probably.
You know?
Strange that it's the name of them. The shooters.
Right. So I eventually found that
Just-
creepy, and I was
yeah.
like, you know what? I don't like my name.
I'll keep it anyways.
I didn't like my name for the longest time, and I was like, you know what? They keep calling me Eric Dillon, and if I tell
Well-
them something different, they're still going to call me Eric Dillon. So Eric Dillon it is, and
Well, I like it, so
Yeah,
I'll have
thanks.
you know that.
it's two first names.
So you,
Yeah.
you did your first match. How did that go?
I wrestled Nick Steele. He
Oh, it
beat
must have
the
went
shit
awesome.
out of me, chopped me 119 times, and
Did you get a pull off that missile drop kick?
no, I didn't. But it was a very safe match, and Nick Steele's a really good guy, and he knows he could really. He's like a hooker style. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
I'm
I-
not saying hooker on the street. I'm talking hooker like Luthez.
Yeah.
he loves that style of wrestling.
Pure
and,
wrestling.
yeah, so everything was really safe, and it was cool, and you know, I didn't get very much offense, and I think he gave me a body slam, and I held on, and he rolled through with an arm drag, and then cut me off by ending my life, and you know, 2
So-
minutes later, that was it, and it was excellent. You know, again,
So-
loved it.
All right. So you have your first. Did you work for EPW after that?
I did a few TV. I did like probably I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 TV tapings after that.
So you have your 5 matches for Yankee Pro.
Yeah, I think
you
I
got
had
another
a
handful of
rematch with Nick
matches.
Steele, a tag match,
Another couple matches
match
for
with John Thornhill, you know, whatever. And
When did you start wrestling regularly as Eric Dillon?
after that, I stuck with it. After EPW, I started. I
Were
was
you
still
reaching
hanging
out to other promotions, or what were you looking for another?
No, because I was
places
still
to work?
discouraged because of my age, because I still wasn't 18.
Because you were still so young.
Right, and at the time, you know, MySpace was around, so nobody's going to take a 16-year-old kid seriously, you know.
Did you ever
Who
lie
looks
about
like
your
a twig.
age?
Yeah, of course I lie about my age, but at the time I really didn't look a day over 15.
Right, you did look
know?
young. Were you saying you were 18 or?
No, I really wasn't saying anything, you know. I would put 18 on Facebook, but nobody asked me directly,
Right,
so I'm
right.
assuming that they assumed I was 18,
Right.
you know, or didn't know any better, or just probably thought I was lying and didn't have the time to call me out, I guess.
Yeah.
But, yeah, and I didn't really have much luck. and I didn't look like a wrestler. And sometimes I still think I don't really look like a wrestler, but every day I want to continue
You're
to
working
train more
to
because
change how you feel about that, right?
I really.
That's all you can really ask for, man.
That's all I want to do is just be a wrestler.
Well, I
know?
gotta give you credits. You went like full on tights, and you got the look going on.
Yeah.
So.
Well, the thing is, if you I feel like if you dress like you're a professional, or if you dress like you've already been there, then when you get there, it won't be as surprising to people. You know what I'm saying? People will say, okay, well, I could expect that because he looks like somebody that's on TV, you know? And those type of people tend to stand out on these independent wrestling shows that you guys do and I do. And we see a lot of people who do and don't look like wrestlers. Nobody specifically, but, you know, I'm sure we all could agree to that, you know?
I don't look like a wrestler at all, man. I'm short and stocky, but I'll slap somebody up. You know what I mean?
You know what?
That's
I've
it.
been slapped up by you, so
No,
I'm not really going to say much.
No, come on, man. You know, it's all in fun and love.
That is not true.
The love of the
training.
sport of professional wrestling, gentlemen.
I'll have you know, Eric Dillon, that is not true. If you lift up Trainee's football jersey, it's nothing but abs, my friend. I've seen it. Not many people get to see it, but I got a glimpse of it, so
Well,
I know
lucky
him
you.
personally.
Just Mack and the ladies, if you know what I mean.
Mack Attack.
Mack Attack.
So you're on MySpace at the time. You're looking for different bookings and stuff like that.
Yeah, but not really knowing how to do it. More like adding Triple H
Did you ever do?
over
Did
a
you do
promotion.
a few promotions that maybe you regretted after doing?
I look back on it now, yeah, of course, but no, because of how young I was. I mean,
Of course.
maybe if I did
Well,
that now, sure, but then it was just like whatever,
So you really
whatever's
just
clever, it
took
didn't
what?
matter, really. I took on whatever I could, and I don't know,
Now-
I just rolled with it.
I'm going to go back a little bit here. When you were training at Yankee Pro Wrestling, was Sean Candido, did he have the book when you were first there? Or did Ricard was already running things?
He was phasing out.
Was phasing out
He was
Candido?
phasing out. I didn't really spend much time in the locker room. I hung out with a handful of guys like the Creeper, which is now Brandon Webb.
Yep, of course. I want to have
David
him on
Baker.
one of these too. Maybe the two of you.
Yeah. We are
You guys together.
We are the tag team to face you guys in a podcast
Yeah, podcast match.
Championship.
Yeah.
contest
All right. So
scheduled for one fall.
that's all.
Just
Just one fall.
That's all.
And so you were there. Is that how you had the connection with Jamie afterwards?
Yeah, I knew Jamie or Sean Candido from my downstairs neighbor who I mentioned earlier that I used to go to the wrestling
Used
shows
to go to
with.
the shows with.
Her I'm sorry, his mother's sister was actually the girlfriend of Sean Candido.
at the time.
Right. So, we would get in and, I
Get in
knew
for
him.
free,
Yeah.
whatever, right?
No, I mean, a discounted price,
Yeah. You got
at the time,
the Joe $2 off
Alexis'
tickets, right?
mother was at the door. You
Yeah.
know? She was a nice lady, and after a while, I think she would let us in. But I would always make sure to go take pictures with the wrestlers and stuff. So I definitely spent money at every indie show that I went to.
Of
back
course,
then,
of course.
But like I said, and nothing really kicked off for me until I started attending ACW shows, Alliance Championship Wrestling shows, for fun with my handful of selected
your
top
top
rope
rope
friends.
friends. Yep.
and
A lot of your top rope friends are pretty much my top rope
Yeah, that's
friends
right.
too. There's a lot of good dudes.
definitely a lot of good guys, and they're all characters. Everybody's
Wacky.
Nobody's really normal in professional
Right,
wrestling.
yeah. Right.
You
You
know?
can look around a wrestling
Look at
locker room.
us.
You're not going to find a whole lot of normal.
No.
I take offense to that. I am absolutely normal, my friend.
Okay. Anyways, what?
Mac, we're sitting in my
Yeah.
bedroom wearing wrestling masks while Eric Dillon has his hair pulled down like Mickey Rourke.
All right. So
My hat's
ACW,
from 1991.
it's Marlboro. I see.
Snake Pit.
Very
Brother.
nice. Did you turn in the coupons for smoking as a child, and eventually you
Yeah, I
turned
used
in
to
like
smoke
15
like
coupons?
18 packs a day when I was like 6.
I used to love how
and,
they would give you hiking gear.
Yeah.
You turn in like 15 cigarette pack of coupons. They give you good camping gear. You go out.
Yeah, I have an iron
some
lung.
hiking.
You pass the microphone back to training number
But
1.
anyways, no, Serious question. You got your start in Alliance Championship Wrestling.
Yep.
Who was your first match?
My first match was
You're skipping over the whole deal, Mac. Yeah, how he got the in, man.
He's hanging out with a bunch of top rope guys. I
Yeah.
think that's his in right there.
no, but because I trained with
I don't know
Bob,
if the top rope guys are gonna have much in
Bob,
at ACW,
you know.
man,
I think people looked down on me.
because the Bob stuff.
Yeah, so they didn't want to.
What, those guys, like the ACW guys,
the
is what you're
ACW
talking
guys are
about?
like not looking down, but like because I remember I put my gear bag next to Sean Candido,
Right.
who at the time was just starting to make an appearance in the
ACW.
ACW locker room.
I'm
and
going to ask you
wrestling.
a trivia question.
Sure.
This is going to skip forward a little bit.
Okay.
Do you remember the first conversation that we ever had?
No, I do not.
It was on an apron of a wrestling ring during a
Actually,
tag
I
match.
do. That was the same night. Now that I know that, this is the same night that you got split open with the belt. And I
No, it was a
remember
bell. It was a bell.
It was a bell.
Yeah,
No,
something
it
with a
wasn't your
ring
belt.
bell.
Because
No,
you had a belt. At
I
that
had.
point.
Yeah.
I remember you laying on that AstroTurf
Yeah.
with a bloody head.
Just picking my head up, and it was like
Just
a pool
picking your
of
head
blood,
up.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That was the
That was
the
very
first time.
crazy.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to tell that story, but you're sitting in the crowd, you're watching these ACW shows
Yep.
with your top rope buddies.
Right.
I'm sure you guys are, making fun of everybody.
Oh,
and
of
doing
course.
anything. Of course. Like, I mean, that
Of
kind of
course.
goes hand in hand. Anybody that goes to any indie shows is kind of the deal.
Of course. Anybody that goes to any indie shows is going to pick it apart if they're a worker
Right.
themselves.
Even if you're not really a worker.
Or smart mark, whatever.
Yeah, just
if
whatever you
take
may
interest
be.
in wrestling to the point where you pay attention to that,
Especially
type of
going to indie shows.
stuff. Especially if you go to an indie show, chances are you are that type of person.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with that because I'm
No,
that type of person.
yeah, we all were.
So are you.
Yeah.
So are you.
I used to make fun of Tough Daddy during shows.
Yeah.
When he was just awful.
Speaking of, my first ACW match I was going to get into was Tough Daddy and Dragon Mask versus.
Wait a minute.
Hold on.
Wait a
sorry.
minute.
Tough Daddy and Crazy Kid versus
the Crazy Kid.
me and Dragon Mask.
Was Dragon Mask Diablo?
No,
Did he
I
have
think
an
it was
A
Chris
on his
Cruz.
mask? Chris Cruz as Dragon Mask. I believe he still has the Dragon Mask.
Good for him.
Was that when Chris Cruz was trying to work some sort of workman's comp angle in real life?
Yeah,
So
I
he
think
had to wrestle as
his excuse
he
was
had
that
to wrestle as Dragon Mask
Yeah.
so he could do it. That's
he
hilarious.
was trying to get some money from his back injury or something
Yeah.
like that.
All right, so
And if that case is still in the process, let's
we just blew
edit
it
this
up.
part out.
Yeah, we just blew up Cruz's whole deal right now. All right, so you're in the crowd, you're hanging out with the guys, making fun,
Oh, I thought we were
having a
past
good
that.
time. No, we
No.
don't. I didn't really. Well, I mean, we are, but not
I'm
really.
sorry.
How did you get the into Whaling Alliance Championship Wrestling at the time?
I just kept showing my face, and I remember.
Now, were you like going up to Candido and saying like, "Hey, man, I'm available for bookings. I got this long hair. I got some acne because I'm a young boy."
I actually talked to Dave about it.
I forgot Dave was.
like I said, I had known
Jamie-
Sean Candido
Jamie
for a
had
while
the-
already.
So were you in there before Jamie had gotten the book?
I remember there one time being a booking sheet with who wanted to be the booker, and everybody had their damn name on the
On the list,
on the
yeah.
freaking list, and I even put my name down just to see what would happen. I
Yeah.
think that's why we all did. I don't know if you guys did, but I
Most
certainly did.
likely.
Yeah. I'm 16 years old. Hell yeah, I'll be the booker of a promotion.
I believe that was during my absence of ACW.
Not at all, man. If
No, I'm
we,
pretty sure you were
if,
there.
If we had a conversation on a ring apron, me and Eric Dillon, and this is before he joined
Don't make no sense.
Alliance Championship Wrestling.
Well, I know that after you got your head split open, it was soon after we left.
Right, but if he was already having matches at the time, and this is before he was having matches, you know what I mean? Do you understand where I'm going at, Mac? That's wine, isn't it? You didn't. That's just a white wine you're drinking now. He tricked us, Eric Dillon. He's drinking
I
a white
knew the
wine.
whole time. This is terrible.
He is smashed. His face is all red. He doesn't have any memories.
I could see your red face through the mask.
What are you guys talking about? What I want to know is how'd your wrestling skills fare up to the competition of Tough Daddy and whoever the hell his other tag team partner was? Dragon Mask, the Crazy Kid.
There.
Dragon
The kid
Mask.
was
The crazy kid.
The kid was crazy. He wrestled in a Hawaiian shirt, That's
yeah,
crazy.
and basketball shorts and sneakers.
The match was terrible. I really don't remember much of it. I remember I tried to do an Eddie Guerrero senton
The Hilo deal from the outside in.
from the outside to the
Yeah.
in, and it came out pretty terrible. I think it was a little far away from the kid that was crazy.
Do you have that match on tape? Because I'm trying to put a Best of Tough Daddy collection together, and I've never seen that one.
I think you should just put that match on there. I think that Best of Tough Daddy would probably be a total of 9 minutes. No?
So you had that kooky Tough Daddy match. I'm sure you got some better competition than
Oh
that
yeah, I had a little bit of
as it went on.
I had a sour taste in my mouth after that one. That was my first frustration experience in wrestling.
Was wrestling Tough Daddy
Well, it was being involved in that match.
that whole angle.
Right.
Now, you have a bad taste in your mouth from that show. Do you think like I'm never coming back here again?
No.
Or do you think like screw it?
I show up to the
It's
next
work,
show.
right?
Yeah, I asked Jamie and I
Candido?
guess Jamie and
Candido.
yes, Sean Candido and Scott Levesque had the book. They were like sharing
Co-bookers, yeah.
co-bookers, or some kind of crazy board of the powers that be, or whatever, you know.
Yeah.
And however long that lasted, they decided to put me against Dragon Mask, and I did a little feud with Dragon Mask. And to me, I think at the time the matches were okay.
Good enough
you know,
for you to keep coming
Good
back
enough
for more.
for me to be a 16-year-old kid and be wrestling, because I got a reaction, and you know.
Now I remember you doing the Dragon Mask stuff.
Yeah.
That was like around the time we were in ACW. We were
Yeah.
getting ready to leave. One of the first times, like, you know, other than your casual highs, how are yous in the locker room, the first time we ever had a conversation was on the ring apron during
Right.
like a
And
crazy ass
that
a
was-
6-man tag or
Yeah.
an 8-man tag.
That
or-
was only my 4th or 5th match at ACW. So we talked relatively,
soon into when you were
into
going.
my
And we literally were
there.
sitting there watching the match just in disgust.
oh yeah.
We were just upset about everything that was going on.
I didn't want
And
to tag
we were
in
very,
because I was just so.
we were very open about it to each other about
Yeah.
how bad what was going on was.
that night I felt like I had a friend.
Do you remember who was in the ring?
It's DJ Crimson.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong, Crimson's
Jason Frost.
Yeah, see, I remember there was
Hey,
like
nice
some-
people. Nice people.
Right.
You know?
No, I just remember we were just not happy about what the deal was. And Crimson's a good dude. Jay Frost
Yeah.
is also a good dude.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't judge anybody their character. You know.
right. And
But
we,
the match was not good, and it was all over the place, and it was
do you
like
remember
35 minutes.
You were wearing like a Scotty Jive, I think, was in that match too.
Yes,
And he was in the ring forever.
I had a sequin
and that's
bandana.
you had a sequin bandana on. Do you remember the answer you gave me when I asked you why you were wearing it?
No, I don't.
You said, because I have acne, brother, and I got to cover this up here. Word for word, that's what you said to me.
Yeah, I still get pimples in my forehead too.
Now, where the hell was I in that match? I'm sure if you were involved, I had been involved.
I think you had
somewhere.
a feud with.
No way, dude. That's when you
Scott
were
Levesque.
yeah, it's when you're in your feud with Levesque.
How do I remember what you do?
Because he has no idea, man. It's the wine. There's long-term wine damages to the brain.
This is terrible.
I refer to Mack Attack when I want to know about my career. I just pop in Mack Attack the DVD and I see about that's when I won the heavyweight championship.
Yeah.
I was doing that single stuff there, so I was not involved in that match. It's too bad. It sounds like you guys are having a wonderful time.
Yeah, we had a great time.
Yeah, we were having a great time, Mac, until I got hit in the head with the bell by Scotty Jive, and literally
You got
this is
whacked.
the first and last time I've ever been knocked like totally unconscious in the ring.
Yeah.
Like I've seen, you get hit sometimes. You get a little loopy. You see stars or whatever.
Of course.
But this was the first time that I've ever been knocked like straight unconscious. And one of the guys who was ringside said that they knew something was wrong when I was laying down, and like I went to pick my head up, and right after getting hit with the bell, I picked my head up, and there was already like a pool of blood.
Yeah, I remember being
underneath
in
my
that
head.
small circle of guys around you, and yeah, that was a pretty. Did you get stitches from that?
Well, I'm sure I was supposed to get stitches
Yeah,
from
but you didn't.
But did I get stitches from
No.
it? No. The answer is always no to that
Of course
question.
not.
We got duct tape for that. It's
Yeah,
part of the Monster
super glue,
Mac
duct
training
tape,
school.
Staple gun.
Yeah, pretty much.
Staple gun.
Any one of them will do.
Yeah. So Eric, we're it was a little fun at that point. That's when me and Mac
Just a little.
we stepped out.
Yeah.
We left ACW. We went and did our own thing for a while.
Yeah.
And
Which is all good.
that was all in. That was at the multiplex, right?
Yeah.
So you guys went from the multiplex to the
A
New
big
Bedford Soccer
jump.
Center, right?
To the New Bedford Soccer Center, another AstroTurf Kingdom
They love places with fake grass.
Yeah,
apparently.
I hated to go over the top rope onto the outside to those damn things. I would get the worst rug burn.
Oh,
ever.
yeah. So you'd prefer the actual concrete then?
Oh, of course.
Yeah, to
All
the
day.
AstroTurf.
Give me a nice piece of slab of
Now from
concrete.
from the going from having just random matches
Yeah.
at the multiplex. When was your first like actual Eric Dillon storyline?
It was
Like, do you remember being excited the first time you realized you were in like an angle?
no, I wasn't excited because the way it was pitched to me is that you're going to lose all the time. And, yeah, and Scott Levesque pitched this to me, and keep in mind that I have no idea who Scott Levesque is, and
Yeah,
being 16, maybe I was just getting a little bit cocky.
right.
I'm a wrestler, and everybody knows it in school because
Because you're telling everybody. Yeah.
And I would go take pictures and then show people pictures.
See, I did the total opposite of that because I was wrestling when I was in high school
I
too,
was
training and all that stuff.
Huge
But I wrestled.
myself.
I've always wrestled under the mask, so I just never said anything about wrestling. I actually got into an argument with a kid one time, trying to tell me that I didn't know about Mack. Like, do you remember me telling you that day?
That is hilarious. I
That's
do
crazy.
remember that. With me is I got kicked out of high school for wearing a mask, so
Yeah,
that's what happened with me. But I do remember that training, and that
life
is
went
quite
downhill
hilarious.
from there.
No, things went up. I'm showcase tag team champion here.
There you
You're
go.
sitting with me in this room. Can you believe it?
I can.
All right, so you pitched the idea that you're gonna lose all the time.
All the time, and I rolled with it, because I wasn't wrestling anywhere else, and honestly, I wasn't trying because
You had a steady place
it was
to
a
go
steady
wrestle.
place, and it was fine
Right.
for school, and I think at the time I was working at like
Now, was
iParty.
Was Baker running the trainings there too at the time, or was that pre-Baker
No.
trainings?
This is pre-Baker trainings.
Okay.
This is Brickhouse Baker just maybe starting.
Wrestling there,
No, just showing up,
just like watching and like hanging out. Or?
Yeah.
Okay.
just watching and hanging out and talking to the old guys and stuff like that. And
For the people that don't know, there's a whole like it's perceived almost as like a Yankee pro wrestling invasion angle kind of deal to the old ACW back in the day, whereas a lot of like the old Yankee guys were showing up and wrestling for the shows, and you were seeing a lot less of the ACW guys. They were getting pushed to the side and yappers and zappers.
Right.
So I'm sure there was a lot of like weird feelings in the locker room when there was still some guys there, and who did you get along with in the locker room at the time?
like all the guys that I watched.
And did you already know them from training over there? Or?
I knew some of them, and
Right.
others I felt like I knew because I had watched them for years. So I can't think of anybody specific, but I guess Kevin Castro would be an example.
One that
because
jumps out right to you.
He jumps
right
out
away.
because he was there, and I never really had a friendship or relationship with Kevin Castro because he
Right,
never attended this.
right.
I would see him, and when I was just watching the shows, and even when I was filming the shows or doing concession or selling tickets or whatever, I would always make sure to just watch the show.
Of course.
I'm not just gonna work. I'm gonna make this fun, because wrestling to me isn't work. I love it.
It's
I
supposed to
enjoy
be
it.
fun, right? That's
You
the
know?
deal. That's why
if
we're
you
all
really
here.
Don't think it's fun anymore. You probably shouldn't do it, right?
Right.
But
What about now? How did you feel towards like the ACW guys? Your Dave Oliveras, your William Bullsworths, your Havocs, your Mac Echoes.
William,
William
what does he
Bullsworth.
look like?
Billy, you may have known him as Billy Bully.
Okay, yeah, he. There was a time where I wrestled him, and he gave me a real stiff shot a lot, and really tried to take liberties on me, and
Which is that's pretty funny.
Yeah, it is funny.
Well, he was one of the buddies with Dave Oliver,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, oh yeah.
so so
That's not his name.
Dave Olivera had like a clique, so I can see how that would happen in a match. So not really the best wrestler, but since he was buddies with Dave, he got some of the good spots in ACW. So some of the things I didn't like about ACW, which led to me leaving. But
Yeah.
you got to take your bookings
That
where you
kid
can.
is just he's just a terrible person. I really hope he's not wrestling anymore.
No, he's not. He's actually settled down with a lady. I
Good.
see him.
Stay there.
Yeah. But so I gotta go to use the bathroom. The Mac restraining.
I'm taking the mic from him. He said restraining order. I don't know what he's talking about. Mac has a weak bladder. I got a bladder like a real man. I haven't peed yet. You too, Eric.
He's a good guy, though.
But Mac,
yeah,
he had a little too much wine before the podcast. I'm not gonna lie.
I feel bad
the
for
man.
him,
The man parties hard.
I know.
He lives that Monster Mac lifestyle.
I don't see any time for sleep with that life.
Well, how can you? You know what I mean? All right, so we'll get a little back on track. How did you feel about those dudes, other than William Bullsworth, who stiffed you up?
I really did not like him.
Yeah, obviously you didn't like him.
He's a real piece of dog shit. I'll tell you that right now.
You were not. I'm assuming. So
Man,
so
just-
you're 16, right?
Yeah, and I remember during that match.
No, hold on. I want to get in your head.
Okay,
for this
go
real
ahead.
quick. You're 16 years old, right?
Yeah.
You're in the turnbuckle.
Yeah.
You've gone to and you've trained with Brickhouse Baker. You trained with Bob Evans. You've trained with Spike Dudley.
Keep in mind, all my top rope friends are watching the show.
They're in the crowd.
They're in the crowd, including Brickhouse Baker,
And
my trainer.
And William Bullsworth, a man
taking a
who
liberty
at the
on me.
time has had 0 professional training.
0. Wrestled in a Walmart tight shirt and those very tight Dave Oliveira shorts.
Like Under Armour almost.
Yeah.
And how, in your head, how do you feel while he's just peppering you up?
Disgusted. I actually walked out of the ring and I chose not to continue the match. I went right up to Brickhouse Baker, and I don't remember what I said exactly, but I was in fear. Like I was so mad. I have
You're
no
getting
idea.
beat up by
I'm
by
getting beat up by
Bullsworth.
William Bullsworth. I walk out of the ring and I decide to go stand on the apron and just I don't wrestle again in the match, but
Was it a tag match?
it was a tag match. I don't remember who my partner was. I was that mad. But I wrestled Mack Echo and William Bullsworth.
Right?
Does that sound right?
Yeah, that sounds about. That's the youth.
Those guys.
The youth.
Oh yeah.
And all right, Eric. You do your whole losing spiel. You lose to everybody.
Yeah.
What is your first where you're sitting down and you're thinking wow, they're gonna go with me. I'm actually gonna be doing this seriously with ACW.
Well, once the move transitioned from Fall River to New Bedford, I was wrestling in my hometown now, so I had the opportunity to bring people from school and from wherever I could bring people to come watch me wrestle too, which really made me comfortable with where I was because I had developed a fan base. And you got to keep in mind that the first show that we did,
so people were behind you. You felt more comfortable,
I felt more comfortable,
more
and
confident.
the locker room, I actually had made friendssions. Now I had been there long enough where people, could.
We're going.
It'd
You were
be more
friends.
than
They
just
were
a
your
casual
friends.
one.
Right.
I had, I don't know if they were brothers yet. I mean, we're all brothers in a sense.
Right.
But they were
brother.
They were just everybody was cool for the most part at that time. Once. I mean, I wish you guys were there, but I mean, the locker room was pretty decent at that time.
Right, yeah. I wish we were there
decent,
too, but there was some problems. How it was.
Ability wise, I don't know, but human being wise, yeah.
Some decent people there.
Decent people.
It's unfortunate because I know at that time a lot of the Yankee guys started coming in, and I kind of missed out on wrestling some of them guys. I had we used to. Alliance Championship Wrestling was it started from nothing and it really kind of grew, and a lot of the wrestlers got better, but a lot of the guys kind of stayed the same.
You're starting to get your foot, your C feet. Is that what they call them? Oh, when
I'm just sticking my ingrown big toe into the salt water.
You're dipping it into the water.
Just feeling that slight burn.
Seeing how everything is.
Yeah.
And so you're feeling more confident. You start working with who. When you think of the New Bedford Soccer Center, who do you think of a feud you have with?
Tex McCoy.
Tex McCoy.
Yes.
You did a lot of Tex McCoy.
A lot of Tex McCoy. Me and Tex McCoy were married, brother, to each other for I don't know, a handful of shows, and we capped it off with the most god-awful bull rope match in the history of probably New Bedford, because I'm pretty sure
there's probably
really
been a bunch
bad
of
bull rope matches. But this was real. This was a big stinkeroo, and we stunk up the joint. He went over, and that was it. And
Now, at this point, you are the Reflex Eric Dillon, or
at this
Kid
point,
Reflex?
I am Reflex Eric Dillon. I put ED on the back of my trunks, not thinking of anything.
Erectile dysfunction,
right.
of course.
Which caught on, obviously. And,
Of course.
My good friend David Baker, who was in the same class as me when we first started, continues to call me erectile dysfunction.
To this day.
Yeah, I have no idea why, but God bless him.
So, now, Tex McCoy, you stink up the joint. You stink up New Bedford with Tex McCoy.
Terrible match.
You guys are getting ready to make the
from
move
there, yeah.
from New Bedford to Fairhaven, right?
No. There was another 7 bad floater matches of mine.
In between those.
In between those, yeah. Another one that stands out is with El Nino Loco, who was played by the Highlight Kid at the time, under a mask. That was a really, really terrible match on my fault because Davey, I hadn't really wrestled anybody that was interested in the spot calling,
right?
And he kind of went into that. I don't think he knew my experience level. I was intimidated by him, obviously, at the time because of the way he portrayed himself. But Davey's a decent guy. He's cool. But at the time, I didn't know that. So
It's
it was
gangsta
just very
style. Is that what?
Yeah, maybe as
that's
a
what
16-year-old
intimidates
kid, I was
me,
intimidated by him.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
And for years, I watched him as the Highlight Kid. So he's a
So
big tough gangster guy who jumps off balconies, and that's really cool. So
he was El Nino Loco.
yeah, under a mask, just like you guys, and not French, Spanish.
Oh yeah.
But,
so not so much like us.
yes, but in a sense, very much like you
I'm
guys.
sorry. What were you saying? That was a singles match that you had with him.
Yeah,
that-
and it was just bad.
That didn't go so well. What are some other matches that you had in Alliance Championship Wrestling?
Nothing really sticks out in my mind for the rest of the Soccer Center besides for that
I say.
beginning feud, the Fairhaven.
Now, was Fairhaven the next step from the Soccer Center?
Yeah. From the Soccer Center is when the next step began. Is when other promotions started to use me.
Now, was you working with what, NLP?
Yeah, I was working for NLP, which is a Boston-based promotion. It's no longer around.
Right.
But they ran at the Good Times Emporium, which was always a packed house.
I enjoyed I did some like crew work and stuff for NECW when they would run the Good Times Emporium.
It was just a really nice environment.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a fun
and it
place.
was really cool to walk around there after the show.
after
It's
you were
just
done.
a
And
giant
stuff.
arcade,
Yeah. They had Ninja Turtles.
They tore
arcade
the place
games.
down.
Really? I didn't know that place
it's
was
gone.
gone. That sucks.
Yeah, it's gone now.
That place rocked.
I know. I would actually like to go there right now, to be honest with you. But
there and Discovery Zone. Those are the two places I want to
oh
go.
my God, I love Discovery Zone. Do you remember those rubber band rooms?
The room where you would go from the top and you could just fall.
Yeah, you could just go like all the way up to the top.
Yeah,
if you
and
really
then
wanted
fall all the
to.
way down to the bottom. It's
Wow.
pretty awesome.
Love Discovery Zone.
All right. So let's get off Discovery Zone and back on some wrestling track. I think Mac, if you're gonna leave, dude. If the ladies, I see your phone. It keeps buzzing in the corner. If you're gonna leave, man, I can take over from here.
No, it's cool, Trini. The ladies can wait for a little while. If they really stop blowing up my phone, I might have to take off.
All right. So you guys make the turn from the Soccer Center where, you were just coming up from being a jobber,
A jabron.
and you get to the VFW Hall. Now,
Yeah.
Alliance Championship Wrestling turns into Whaling City Wrestling.
Yeah.
Down the line.
Down the line.
Now that's how many? Say what? 2 years
2 years down the line.
as ACW
Yeah.
before it turns into Whaling City Wrestling.
Yeah.
Now in ACW, who you showed up the VFW Hall, a different atmosphere than the Soccer Center. How do they do at the VFW Hall then? How are they drawing from compared to
the Soccer Center, it was
if we go
very
back to the
bad.
multiplex?
Good. Compared to the multiplex.
Compared to the multiplex, because the multiplex, even when other promotions ran there with names,
Yeah.
can
They
barely
still
draw.
couldn't really draw anything, and
And then you
even
guys
if
go
they
to New
did draw a
Bedford,
decent...
and New Bedford, you guys are doing
yeah.
some standing room only shows.
Right.
Being-
And to me, I feel like there are more people in the Soccer Center But just the VFW is a more personal environment.
Right.
So to be just closer to the people and things like that, it's very
You enjoy the atmosphere more. It was
I
more of
enjoyed the
a
atmosphere.
a
Maybe
live
work
atmosphere.
Harder,
Oh, we got some guests coming into the studio,
Hello,
sitting
hello.
down on the bed. Hey, dude, how's
Lovely
it going,
people.
guys? We got a cat with us now. There's a cat here. So Eric Dillon, we're
Yeah.
at the VFW hall. It's ACW. You have a big feud with Sean Candido. Is that?
Yeah, I guess I wrestled a lot of. I had a lot of. I had so much fun at ACW. This was during the time where my friend, had his own apartment. So we would just always be just hanging out about wrestling, and wrestling was just consumed my life. And I just had, I had a lot of good matches. And the Sean Candido feud was probably not the greatest matches, but to me they were fun. We beat the shit out of each other. And that was the first time I had ever used a
gig,
a
blade.
A blade
Was
as
with
they
the
say.
Candido in the
Yeah.
Candido match.
Just like my hero Mickey Rourke.
I've seen the footage from it. You are a bloody man.
A bloody man. And
Now, were you drinking some beer before that, or
no,
you popped some aspirin, or
yeah, I drank one beer and I
Yeah,
popped 2 aspirins.
no? You say you drank one beer,
Yeah.
like it's just a normal thing. But how old are you when you're drinking that beer? 16, 17,
I was about 18.
18. Okay, that's not bad. I'm okay
no,
with that.
that's okay. It wasn't like I was getting really drunk.
Just getting, yeah, you weren't getting wrecked.
I was just trying to really produce like a nice Dusty Rhodes sauce. You know.
Now, when you Dusty Road sauce sounds gross, man. I wouldn't want that on my face. Now, when you're sitting, when you like right now, when you think ACW VFW Hall, like what's the first word that comes to your head?
Edith.
Edith.
Yeah.
That's weird.
She's just a
I would have
very.
went with fun or like
Partying.
partying, anything like
Is that
that.
chocolate over there?
Hey, the man likes Edith, man.
I get a piece of that?
He's a big fan.
She is a big fan. That's correct.
No, I'm saying you're a big fan.
Of what? Wrestling?
Of Edith, apparently.
Oh.
All right, so oddly enough, Edith is the first thing that comes to your mind. Why is that?
Well, it's hard to miss her. And no, come on. She's a nice lady. God bless her. But
Eric Dillon is taking it to like a personal.
no, come on.
just
I'm
a-
just
you're
ACW
taking
is
shots,
fun.
my
And I
friend.
think of that stuff. It makes
Fun,
me want
yeah,
to laugh. Ha, ha, ha,
I
ha.
got you, man. I got you.
There's more people in the room now, so I feel like I have to
You
put on a show. You know?
Did you guys mind leaving
Yeah.
for a little bit while we wrap this up?
Get out and stay out.
Yeah, you do mind. Really, she does mind leaving.
No, stay.
know,
Please stay.
Come back in, man. He's gonna sit out there by himself now. All right. So where were we? Oh, ACW in the VFW hall. What are some of your other? You have any other memories from that time, or like? Obviously, you said it was a lot of fun. You were working with a lot of dudes that you had grown close with.
Yeah.
And your feud with Candido was the first feud you really had. You got some juice. You got some color.
Oh no, I had a good run as a babyface, as the reflex thing,
Right.
in the dancing. But I felt really comfortable being a heel,
ACW or Whaling City Wrestling, or did you notice like a major different change between the two organizations?
No, just like throughout the time, just morale was very fluctuative, Changes happened.
How did that change come about? How did it go from being Alliance Championship Wrestling, owned by Dave Oliveira, booked
There was
by
just
Sean
an issue with
Candido?
Dave Oliveira, and it was just. I know it had to do with money. I know it had to do with. I think it actually mainly had to do with money, to be honest with you.
Right.
And, a lot of the guys, including myself, and a lot of my friends, and everybody had a reason to be just a little
Just to
upset.
be pissed, yeah.
Over the certain circumstances, and after that, I feel like the morale started to go down.
Now, you're talking about when Jamie started to take over?
Just
Or
during
after it got out,
during the whole transition,
that Dave wasn't paying anyone.
towards the end, where
and-
Dave wasn't paying anybody, or Dave was paying a select few people, or Dave was paying people to do certain things.
You're taking it a little. You're talking about the personal life stuff.
No, I just he would take care of guys for wrestling certain matches. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
it's just, I don't know. To me, if you're gonna pay one person on the show, just pay everybody a little something. You know,
Even if it's just a little bit, you know what I mean? It's better than nothing.
I mean, $5, sure, that's a slap in the face, but you know, just don't beat around the bush like that. You know what I'm saying? Don't pick favorites. You know, and that's all I'm saying about Dave is that I felt he picked favorites.
that was
you know?
that was your big beef with him.
Yeah. So I mean, my morale started to go down because if I wasn't, no matter how hard I worked, if I wasn't gonna, you know, rise above, then, you know,
I got you, man. So
what could I do?
Candido takes over.
Candido takes over.
It becomes Whaling City Wrestling,
Yep.
and you guys run a couple, a show or two, and he announces that it's going to be like a split roster kind of deal.
Yeah.
There's like a Fairhaven roster and a new Fall River roster, right?
Yeah.
And at that time, you were
This is the worst idea, and at the time I was the Fairhaven roster, but for some reason I was still on the
Fall River,
Fall River
shows.
So I just didn't see a need for the roster. Nobody paid attention to it. The website was, you know,
It looks exactly the same as it,
it
does
looks
right
exactly
now.
the same it does right now, which is
Just
know,
not updated.
I'm still on the website. You know.
Right. So you're in Whaling City Wrestling.
Yeah. And it didn't. It was okay. You know.
Yep. Now
It was
Mack,
still the
this is
VFW. I was still having
now
fun.
we're at the point where Mac wants to talk to you a little bit about us.
Okay.
So me and Trini make a re-debut, well, our debut to
Yeah.
Whaling Championship Wrestling.
In Fall
Whaling
River.
City Wrestling.
In Fall River.
The Fall River brand.
In 2010.
I totally forgot about that, the brands split. But we were supposed to be official Fall River guys.
Yeah.
That didn't last very long. Was that like a show or two?
Yeah. I don't know. I'm not really sure.
But
I'm not really sure on that.
so Mack Attack makes their debut,
Yep.
wrestling none other than Kid Reflex, Eric Dillon, and Mark Damon.
Flex Appeal. Flex
The
Mark
Flex
Damon.
Appeal.
Kid Reflex Eric Dillon. Yeah. I like that tag team.
And you guys had that chick with you too.
That's right.
Whatever that chick's name was.
I'm not sure.
Nikki.
No, it wasn't Nikki Valentine.
No, it was.
Shout out to Nikki Valentine. Nice woman.
Yeah, God bless her.
Nikki
God bless.
Valentine. She
God
was part of the
bless.
reason we won the Whaling City Wrestling Tag Team Championships when we did. We were in a 6-man with her.
Rob Hagen, also husband of Nikki Valentine. Excellent guy.
All right, if you're gonna say that, that's news to me. Rob Hagen's also a good dude.
That's correct.
So, how did you and Mark Damon start teaming up? What happened with that?
It was just Jamie asked me if I wanted to be in a tag team. I said, yeah, with somebody that would compliment me. And the original idea I had with Mark Damon was for me to have him on a dog leash and me wear a zebra mask and
Really?
chain him out to the ring.
I don't know if Mark Damon would be having that.
Well, I ran that by him, and he was like, no, what are you, crazy? And,
I didn't think he would like that one.
No, he hated the idea. It was, and I look back on
I
it
do
now,
like the
I still
zebra
think it's
mask.
cool.
Well,
you know?
I do like
and
the
I did
zebra
end up
mask.
wearing the zebra mask like 3 times,
I've seen it on Facebook.
and now it's crushed.
Oh, what happened to it?
I'm not sure. I think I put a spare tire on it in my trunk.
That would do it.
Stupid mistake.
So you wrestled
Gone
Team
forever,
Mack
yeah.
Attack. I believe we went over.
Yep. By a schoolboy victory.
Even though you did kick my ass in that match. You
Yeah.
know, I took some time off of wrestling, so it was one of my first
a
matches.
small
back.
child's hair of a victory, by the way.
Yeah,
Schoolboy.
yeah,
so you
I
know.
know. So,
Kicked out right after the 3.
yeah,
All right.
you almost. But we did get you that night, and I have to say that's pretty much where I wanted to talk to you up to. So,
Yeah. You just wanted to tell me that you beat me,
yeah, exactly.
and then you're going to leave.
Now I can officially leave. So, Monster Mac fans,
All right.
I'm out of here. I got some ladies, Linda, Missy, and Jessica is waiting for me. Then we're
Are you
not
still
made up
talking to
names.
Bertha?
Then we're not made up names at all. So I'm out of here, fans. And Training Them One's going to do the honors and continue this podcast with Eric Dillon. I'd love to have you on a second time. I really like that Brandon Webb idea.
You could just
I'm
put a
gonna write
picture of me
that
on the
down.
wall and talk to it. 'Cause,
All right.
You know?
Mac, thanks. Fist pound, my friend. Boom. I appreciate it.
I'll shake the whole hand.
He'll shake the whole hand.
There you go.
And so, yeah, we'll. I'll shake it too.
I want to let you fans know I do have a designated ride. I will not be doing any DUIs today.
Thank you, Jesus.
He won't be doing any riots. He won't be doing any William Thorns. No
Just go
DUIs
home.
tonight.
Let's call it a night, brother. You just dropped your phone.
This man is he's a mess. All right, Eric Dillon. So we were talking about it at that point.
Hey, all right, brother.
Mac, I'll see you later, buddy.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
So while Mac's leaving, we'll be cleaning up here.
Yeah.
We're going to kind of go into the wrap-up a little bit. We're pretty close to the end now at this point. We're at Whaling City Wrestling.
The floor's real sticky around here.
That might be the wine he spilled on the floor.
Yeah.
All right, so we're at Whaling City Wrestling. You're teaming with Mark Damon.
Yep.
You're doing tag stuff.
Runs about 6 months.
Runs about 6 months. You have that chick with you. You guys don't leave that cup there. I'll punch you in your face, Mac.
The same frustrations
start to come up
start to
around.
come up again with the old pay issue and
were you happy with where you were on the roster? Or?
No. I just didn't want to be in a tag team. So I figured if I'm going to wrestle for free and I'm not going to be bettering my perception
right
to other people, I would at least want to do what I want to do,
And this kind of goes
have fun.
This kind of goes where people start to think that you lost your mind.
Right.
Now,
and
there was a point there where a lot of people were talking about how you were unsafe and you were wild.
Yeah.
And
loose cannon.
Loose cannon is a phrase, unpredictable.
Because I would just grab the mic and I would just tell the truth, and
just do a
sometimes
little shooting. Now, what about in your matches? There's some people who say that you were unsafe in matches. You hurt Kevin Strider with a barbell.
No, because I have the tape and I really don't get him with that weight all that good. Have you seen it?
I have not seen it. No,
No,
I've heard everybody talk about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From that night.
We've talked since,
Yeah, everything is cool.
It was a curved weight, I would never drop
a straight bell,
a straight bell,
barbell,
or any type of weight on somebody's back for real. You
Right.
know? I'm not a mean person. I don't think, but me.
But you could see where people would start to
I
think.
could see that because along with other things, I was just starting to show my frustration. I shaved my head.
Yeah.
I was acting out.
You were acting out against what
I just
you
wanted some kind of attention.
And it worked
to an extent.
And I'm sure it hurt.
No, because
It didn't hurt any, contact with other promotions or anything like that. They hear
at the
you
time
have
I
like
wasn't
this,
seeing that. Now, yeah,
you,
of course.
you have this not bad attitude, but a bad persona, a bad
like a cigarette smell almost.
Right.
It takes a while to get rid of.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I had to rid that cigarette smell. But I
you
figured
were
that
grabbing house mics, and you were bringing that chick out and like throwing her to the ground, and
yeah, I was doing a thing where I was on Wrestling Spotlight one time, and I had one of the girls throw.
Shout out Wrestling Spotlight, Scotty
Wrestling
Spotlight.
Spotlight, Scotty.
We used to feud, but now we're everything's all Jesus to them.
Every time I'm on the show with them, I call him Joe Eugenio. I don't know why.
Just on purpose, or
no? Of course on purpose.
Well, of course. But yeah, so what are you saying? Oh, the loose cannon.
I did the spot where and I had only told her it was the manager of Sean Candido at the time during that feud, and I had told her, but not anybody else, that I was going to push her in the face, and she was going to, and I
fall over and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
So when we did that angle, it was just wild, and Jamie had jumped over the table. It was a work, but
you didn't let everybody know.
I didn't let everybody know. I let the obvious people know,
and it still stirred up some controversy.
And if anybody has that on tape, please send it to me.
Contact Eric.
Contact Monster Mack.
No, don't contact me. I don't want that.
Contact
Eric Dillon.
Facebook.
We'll get all your plugs in at the end of the podcast.
But Scotty has that match.
Scotty Spotlight.
Yeah,
he has the match.
Yeah,
talk to him. I'm sure he'll get it to you.
Kayfabe. He doesn't want. Yeah, he doesn't. For some reason, he doesn't.
Doesn't have it, or
just doesn't want to reply to me.
Yeah,
I don't know what it is.
I'm sorry to hear that, man. That's funny. So you're wild. You're going crazy. You're frustrated.
Yes.
And
it all
comes
boils down to this tag team tournament at WCW, and we talk about this like it's the world famous promotion.
And it's not. Well, I keep saying Whaling City Wrestling. Matt called it like he added 4 extra numbers.
It's just it's really just very small
indie promotion. It's just
just a small portion of what's really out there, and to us it meant something, you know.
Especially at the
we've
time.
all moved on since,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? But as you've gotten older, you start to be more realistic, and just I went in.
You say it all boils down to a tag team
It
tournament.
all boils down to tag team tournament. And I had went into the show thinking I was going to do something completely different, which was originally told. My match changed 3 times, and it was originally supposed to be with the Hollywood Blockbusters or something, and then
Scott Levesque and Rob Hagen.
right, and then it switched to Mike Foster and somebody, and then the last second, like 10 minutes before the match, it switches to Rick Fuller and Scott Ashworth, and it's just, and then the belts were involved, and it's just like the frustration of all that, plus the way like I was being talked to about like when receiving directions, it just rubbed me the wrong way, and I must have had a bad day because normally I wouldn't have done that, but I left that night, and
You just took off.
and that was the last WCW show I did for a long time, and
You're still not really working for them
I'm
regularly
sorry,
right
working
now.
with them. I went back for one show just to get that smell of the old VFW back.
Yeah.
and it's just not the same for me over there, and I wish everybody good luck over there, and I hope everybody's doing good.
Of course.
I still check in with them.
Of course. I see you
sometimes.
there every once in a while. You're in hanging out in the locker room.
I have a lot
or
of friends
whatever,
that still wrestle there, or I
course.
have a handful of friends that wrestle there. You guys.
I was gonna say
included.
not really a lot anymore.
No,
It's kind of,
I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of friends. Period.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, but I keep to myself. But the friends I do have, I'm thankful for.
that's what I was gonna say, Eric. You are one of the people I've become closest with.
Yeah.
From
From
that I've met specifically from wrestling, and I mean, and that includes. There's not too many people out there,
Yeah.
and you're definitely one of them, and I consider you
I
in
feel
my
the same
close
way.
group of friends, and
I feel the same way. I wish distance wasn't an issue sometimes.
Right, of course, but we get to sit down, and
Of
I mean,
course.
we've been talking for almost 2 hours now.
That's right, and if it doesn't really feel like 2 hours,
It does not at all.
and we're
This time
grown men.
has
We live our
flown
lives
by
separately, and when we get
with-
together
when
and
we
it-
can, and that's
and it just doesn't feel like we miss a beat. And,
Exactly,
and
exactly.
that's why I feel like this podcast is running smoothly. I mean, I ramble on and I go
who
on,
doesn't?
And this guy over
Mack,
here,
yeah, he had
Mack
too
Attack,
many sips. Too many
So-
sips. He was gone.
forget about it.
But so that brings us to right now.
To right now.
I mean, we didn't go into super details about feuds and
No,
all these things.
that's not
but,
important.
Right.
What's
I
important?
want to try to get your story out.
Right.
Let you vent some stuff, and we'll tell some funny stories and stuff.
Yeah, sure.
At this point now, you're not really wrestling anywhere.
Well, I'm actually wrestling for PWF.
Just recently, right? You just recently.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
started-
thought you were telling me about right now.
Well, no, right now, yeah. I mean, you've only really done PWF the last.
Yeah,
couple,
I did the
2 or 3
showcase.
shows.
I went to do the Showcase Pro Wrestling, and I was there for a while. And
Right, doing SPW.
right,
For
and
Blackheart.
that was well.
And you got
know.
there was some beef there, right?
Yeah, there was a little beef because I had chosen to.
Is it all cleared up now? Like, are we all
I
good?
assume
or-
so, but I mean, I
You missed the Blackheart show. You did
Yeah.
PWF instead,
yeah,
and Blackheart wasn't happy when you
No.
seen him the next day
no. So
in Connecticut.
he said he talked to me, talked down to me in front of a
Right.
group of people.
Right.
Which if you're gonna talk to me, be
Pull
a
you
man,
aside.
pull
talk
me
to you,
aside,
whatever.
tell me what's wrong, and let me
I
acknowledge
understand.
it.
I understand from your point of view. You can see where he's coming from too. Where you like missed a show and
Right, but he was trying to be very smart with it at the same time. He said something, and I don't want to really dig up old dirt.
no.
but,
Yeah.
I'm just telling the story, and anybody who's there
Seen it,
seen
and-
it.
yeah.
and I'm sure they could verify, and it's not an issue. But Chris is fine. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know. We just had a little disagreement, and it was. It wasn't like, physical or anything like that. He just called me out, and he said something along the lines of, how does it feel to not get to skip out on a show and not get paid to wrestle or something like that?
Yeah.
And I said, well, guess what? I skipped out on your show. I made more money than I did on your show, and
Yeah.
and
Some
I earned a full time spot, or I earned a
regular
primitive
spot
spot.
for PWF. Right?
Yeah, and I'd much rather have my foot in the water over there than just trudging through the same mud that I've been doing for years.
all these the last few
mud
years
is
and
a
stuff.
really harsh word,
No,
but
I know what you're saying though.
just staying in the same spot. Everybody has that plateau, and you just have to kind of
H-
push
h-
yourself.
How are you feeling over at PWF? You enjoy the locker room, the
Yeah,
the
yeah,
atmosphere.
I really like
like
it over there.
working with a lot of people and stuff.
Yeah, I'm working with people that know what they're doing, and I'm not saying that people in other promotions don't know what they're doing, but there's a bigger
A majority of people.
the majority of people that work for PWF Northeast are professionally trained, carry themselves well,
They run
have
things
professional gear.
like a business.
They run things like a business, and everything's on paper, and all the
I'm sorry. We got somebody in the back of the room playing ribs, doing ribs.
Yeah.
Distracting Eric Dillon.
Is there any more candy in that satchel?
I don't think this is all your candy. I'm gonna throw this dude out of the room again. I already kicked him out once. I'm gonna kick him out again. He's gonna sit down. So you really enjoy doing PWF, and is that pretty much the only place that you're working right now?
There's a spot show. I'll do it here, but right now it's like I'm just focusing on weightlifting and wrestling training.
Right.
Attending as much as I can for the time that I can, and it's just weight training has been really like in the forefront for me because I just feel like, I could.
I was gonna say you have bulked up. You look
Thank
like
you.
you put on easily 20 pounds of muscle. You look good.
Over the course of
I'm trying to lose the weight.
or so.
You're trying
Yeah.
to put
Hey,
it on.
I'll take it over
Yeah,
here.
if
Throw
we
it
can
on
switch.
me. Throw it on me, brother.
I mean, I slimmed down a little bit. But
Yeah.
I'm trying.
No,
I'm trying.
you look really good.
Yeah, I don't know about
No,
really good.
no, you do. You look really good. I'm
Get
telling you.
outta here, dude.
What is that? A penis?
Yeah, he was shaking a fake wang in my face. Not appreciative,
Put
dude.
that pencil away.
So now, Eric, do you have anything coming up that you want to plug?
Well, I mean,
Any shows you're doing, anything like that?
I can tell you that I'm going to be doing more shows, and it's only going to be a matter of time. When and where, that's for whoever to figure out. We'll figure it out.
And if people want to get
And-
a hold of you
And
or
if anybody would like to get a hold of me,
figure
find
out
me.
when you're going to have your upcoming shows,
Yeah,
it's
I-
Facebook.com/
yeah, and I'm not
Kid
a shy
Reflex?
person.
Is it
yeah,
Kid Reflex?
It's Facebook.com/ Kid Reflex Official.
official.
Yeah.
Now, what Eric Dillon just was already taken, or
No, I don't know what made me go with the
Kid Reflex Official.
But I was really plugging the whole Kid Reflex
Kid
thing.
Reflex
And
Official.
that's what I do, the whole PWF thing. I do the Kid Reflex thing. I like it,
Yeah,
It's different, Nobody's really kid anymore. Kids so 90s,
yeah, and
That's just
that's
me.
kind of the look that you're going. I mean, you are
Yeah.
wearing a Marlboro hat and a
Yeah.
fanny pack, and you have,
not a smoker, but
but you have the hat
somebody smoked 112 packs
to get you that hat.
Yeah.
You got
I
it
paid
somehow.
$1 for it.
I paid $1.
I
for
did
it.
boil it though. That's what you're supposed
That's
to do.
good. You boil that denim.
Boil denim, boil hats, boil anything that can give you lice or crabs.
And if people want to reach out to you, have a Twitter or anything like that?
No, I don't know what that is, but
you don't do the Twitter thing.
I have Instagram.
Is that an Eric Dillon thing, or is that like
No,
more
that's
of
an
a-
Eric Dillon thing. I post pictures of cats and me and fruits and vegetables.
If anybody wants to get a hold of you, is any emails out there, or is it just basically the Facebook page is the best way to reach you?
Yeah, you could reflexbookings@gmail.com.
We got to get you Twitter, Eric Dillon. That's
I don't know. I don't like that. There's a fake Eric Dillon Twitter, I think.
really
something
like
like
a
that.
not Eric Dillon.
Yeah. Or, no, people still think I'm the Mayor McCheese. Address that. Good.
Are we going to address that?
Sure, yeah.
Are we going to
Come
talk
on.
about the Man McCheese
Talk
thing?
it up.
Talk
please.
it up, he says. Eric Dillon, for the longest time,
Yeah.
the word on the street was that you were Man McCheese. Now, if people don't know who Man McCheese is, he's basically an internet troll, is what they're called. And he goes on message boards and Facebooks and Twitters and just shits all over everybody. And, it's obviously somebody that is on the inside of wrestling because they know personal things about everybody they make fun of, pretty much. And a lot of people thought it was you.
Right.
Now,
I don't know
how did
where
that come
came
about?
from. Easy target is where I say I'm just too nice of a person, I think.
Right.
And I was fine with it because I thought it was just, high school crap. So
Right.
it doesn't matter to me. Whatever. People think what they want. That's really not me. And sometimes I really do have the time to sit on the internet and do that all day, but I'm not going to spend
But you don't do it, right?
I don't do it, I'd much rather, read.
Watch matches on YouTube, I assume.
No, I mean, maybe not even the computer. Like, read a
Like
book.
actual books.
Yeah.
I was just reading The
go
Death
work
of
out.
WCW, the Death of WCW book.
That's a great book.
It is a great book, man.
I'm
I love
just-
that book.
Yeah, I read wrestling books like crazy. I just read Chris Jericho's Undisputed
The
book.
first one or the second one?
The second one. I did
I like the first one better.
Do you see? I'm. The first one is like really, really funny.
Right.
This one is funny, but it's like it's too much.
It's too much Fozzy for me, I think.
Is there a lot of Fozzy?
Yeah,
There's like 2 whole chapters I've read about Fozzy so far.
I'm not saying Fozzy's a bad thing, but the first Jericho
I'm not really
book,
interested in Fozzy.
the first Jericho book is like from training to right before he gets
it's
signed.
all wrestling.
It's just like,
if
Japan,
yeah.
Mexico, Europe, and it's all that.
I really want to get Chris Canyon's book and Booker T's book. That interests me.
Right. The Regal book's really good. Have you read the Regal book's really good. And
Casey has it.
Yeah, he does. Casey does have it. Was that from you? Did you?
Yeah.
Was
No,
that was
that's
you
his
that
now.
you gave it to him? It's
Yeah.
his now. Yeah. So Eric Dillon, who do you think is Matt McCheese?
I don't know.
Is that like a loaded question? Like you
Yeah.
have somebody that you want to say, but you don't want to say it on a podcast.
I mean, I think everybody has their own assumptions.
Yeah, my assumption is it's you.
Oh,
Nah, you know I'm just playing, dude.
oh man, you're a heater.
Yeah.
No, it's not. I swear. It's not me, and I really don't know. I could say it's not Brandon Webb either. He's a really good friend of mine. And
Right, and so
another
it's not
guy
him
who works an awful lot. He's a good guy, and he really doesn't have the time for that either.
for the silly shit.
Yeah. So I mean, whoever really, and I had an argument with Doug Summers, and I'm a very quiet person, but I had an argument with Doug Summers about the whole Mayor McCheese thing, and I really went off on him, and I've never talked to anybody like that before.
Right.
And I never heard him say anything about Mayor McCheese again. So I mean,
It worked, right? If
it worked. If he just kept my name out of his mouth, and it seemed to,
well,
maybe he
that
talks
happens.
about me.
A lot of people
still,
were upset about the whole
today.
thing.
Right.
Matt McCheese was pissing off a lot of people, which to
Right.
me is kind of funny.
In hindsight, it still doesn't upset me because
Right.
I have nothing to do
That
with it,
people
so
thought
I
it
have no
was you,
sympathy
or
or empathy for any of it. I think it's just like high school stuff, and the fact that I'm associated with it just makes me annoyed, But I'm glad it's out there.
Right,
Not
no,
Mayor McCheese.
Right. See, so this is the first time.
And
this
trainee.
is probably one of the first times anybody's really openly talked about the whole Matt McCheese thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Or
in an open
I've openly
forum.
talked in general.
Right.
And you, a trainee number
Yes,
one.
sir. Yes, sir.
Numero uno, that you would know if I was Mayor McCheese.
Oh, of
because
course.
I would tell you.
Right.
We kid.
And plus, sometimes the things that McCheese says a little different.
Are just absurd. Mayor
you
McCheese
can
has a
just-
Twitter too.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I know. It's great.
Yeah.
I follow him
Yeah.
personally,
Well, if I had a Twitter, I would too.
but
That would throw people off, right?
yeah, they'd be confused.
Right.
But so Eric Dillon, I'd really like to say thank you for coming in, man.
No, thank you.
It's been a great talk. I really enjoyed having you in here for the last couple hours. We got into some.
We've been in here for so
some
long, but
details.
really talked about nothing.
Well, I can't even remember what we're talking about. I'm going to listen to this tomorrow again.
Yeah.
Listen to it back and see how.
I might listen to it too.
see how it
I
is.
bet I sound like a real fool.
Well, don't we all, man? I mean,
Yeah.
that's the whole point. We come out here, we do some talking.
Yeah, we do.
And
It's fun though.
it is. It's a lot of fun, and I just want to say thank you
Thank
again. I had a great time. There's a really good conversation, really in depth.
Yeah.
People, if you want to find Eric Dillon, you find him on Facebook / Kid Reflex Official.
That's right.
And, of course, if you want to find anything about us, it's MonsterMac.net for podcasts, for matches, for the Monster Mac Show, for merchandise, all of the above. And just since Mac's not here, I guess I had to do the official goodbyes as well. So,
Well, before we say goodbye, I just want to say one more thing.
I was going to say before we get...
Yeah.
Do you have anything else? Anybody you want to shout out? Or
Just, I really, I've made so many friends in wrestling.
Right.
And I really, I'm just thankful. I mean, granted, I may not be in the best position in life, and granted, people may be more advanced in the ring or out of the ring.
Right.
In any perspective, everybody's different, but I just the people that you meet in wrestling alone is worth all the bullshit,
the drama and the nonsense.
drama, because as weird as you are, there's somebody else like you, and I feel like I'm just so crazy, and
then
you have to be crazy
and
like
then you
wrestling. You
meet up,
realize,
and you meet up,
and
with
then
your
I meet somebody
friends.
like a Devin Blaze, it was really crazy.
Or Monster Mac, Scott
Or,
Levesque.
Scott Levesque, crazy, nicest man in the world,
One of my best friends.
nicest man in the world
of
but
all time.
insane.
And I love him.
Love him.
The man is
Shout out to Scott Levesque, please.
The man is so he knows so much about wrestling.
Yeah.
It's insane.
He is. I could just
He has like the largest wrestling
just
collection
talk to him
too
about
that I
wrestling for hours.
and the man just has.
I've played the name game with him. You ever play the name game where
I've played him the name
we-
game
we
and
played it all
won,
together.
and I've beat that son of a gun.
Yeah.
In the name game.
Yeah.
But
Must have been after a few beers because he's good, man. I don't know.
We're gonna have Levesque on a future podcast, I think.
Oh, if he's here, I would like to be here too.
So,
Just to say hello.
Just to say hello.
Yeah, on the microphone, so it looks
anybody
like we
else?
talk.
Anybody else you want to shout out or you want to say thanks to or anything like that?
Thank you to everybody who's ever bought a ticket to go to a show that I'm on. Because, granted, I know for a fact that you didn't know I was going to be on the show, but I was there and you watched me wrestle. And whether you liked it or you didn't like it, you saw me, and chances are I saw you, but we just don't remember each other. But
what a beautiful statement. Beautiful. I was going to say from a beautiful man.
So if you see me again,
like you,
I am
Eric Dillon.
no, beautiful man. You're the one with the mask. You should take that thing off.
Anything? No.
No, thanks for being here. Like I said,
thank you, man. I mean, you came down. You traveled to us this time. I mean, last time we traveled out.
I don't want to say I love everybody, but there's
a general consensus, and the people out there that know
in wrestling
that know
who they are and know that I don't have to say their names or anything like that. But I just thank you for just being in the same thing that I am, because
bookers, promoters. If you need to find Eric Dillon, it's Kid Reflex Bookings, or is it Eric Dillon Bookings?
It's Reflex Bookings.
Reflex Bookings at gmail.com. Fans, anybody, if you want to find Eric Dillon on Facebook, facebook.com/official Kid Reflex. Oh, Kid Reflex Official.
Sure, yeah.
It's one of those.
You can find me wherever, just not on Twitter. I don't
just
do that.
not on Twitter.
I don't go for that sort of thing.
He does not.
But one last thing, and I've said this 3, 4, 5 times.
It's okay.
already.
It's okay.
I forgot what I was going to say.
No.
Damn it. No, I got it.
Oh, it's back.
Wait. Segue to saying goodbye again, and then I'll do that whole one more thing again.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to be wrapping this up right now, pretend style, so Eric Dillon can cut me off and say one more thing real quick. So if you want to go to the official Facebook page of Eric Dillon, it's facebook.com/official Kid Reflex. And then, nope,
I love wrestling.
He loves wrestling.
Yeah.
I don't know.
No.
That's
not,
not,
you know what? I'm going to extend an offer to you. That's what this is
all
going to be
right,
about.
all right.
I'm going to extend an offer to you that next time, since people think I'm some kind of controversial loose cannon character,
right,
maybe we'll give them what they want, and next time there could be an all-dirt edition of Eric Dillon.
Oh, yeah, dude. I'm
I think
so
that would
down. We can talk about
if anybody's
some
listening
of the
to
Mac and
this,
cheese stuff. We can talk about trannies.
Their hands are sweaty
We can talk
now.
about the dirty business
we
in
can
the
talk
locker
about whatever
room.
you like. Sure.
Oh, we'll do a part 2 with Eric Dillon with the dirty business, the dirty behind the scenes business with Eric Dillon.
D-Biz with ED.
Sounds good, my friend. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am training number 1. You are here with
Kid Reflex, Eric Dillon.
You are on MassaMac.net. You are listening to the podcast, and I just like to say thank you, everybody. Enjoy your night.
Word to your mother. I don't know about that.
I don't know about that either, but I'm keeping it in.
All right.